Hello everyone, this is Professor Govind. In this video, let's understand what exactly VB.NET means. We'll also discuss about features of VB.NET. We'll talk about data types available in VB.NET, and also we'll discuss about the concept of variables. Let me remind you that VB.NET is a software tool which is used for designing applications or softwares. And VB.NET is based on a software platform called .NET Framework. Now, .NET Framework is a software platform which supports multiple programming languages, which contains multiple compilers to compile programs written in various languages. And .NET Framework contains all the tools which are required for designing software or application. VB.NET in specific, VB.NET contains all the tools which are required for designing any kind of application. Not only commands, not only statements, but using VB.NET, using Visual Basic .NET, we can have an attractive interface. We can have the tools like Form, a platform where interface can be designed. We can have some visual tools which we need to just drag and drop. And based on those tools or using those tools, we can design any software. So Visual Basic, unlike C programming, is a combination of visual tools as well as commands. There will be options available on screen in VB.NET. Those are called as software tools or controls. We just have to drag it and drop it in our program window, and based on that tool we can write any program, or within the functionality of that tool we can add any command or we can write any statement. We'll understand this concept better soon we start with practical part of it. It is called Visual Basic because we have tools available which are graphical in nature. It is not only based on commands. VB.NET is not only based on commands, but we have visual tools as well. We just have to drag and drop, and 50% of interface by doing this will be ready. C program was entirely based on commands, but VB.NET is a combination of visual tools as well as commands, which will help or which will ease the work of a programmer or a designer. When we have tools which are required for the program available, ready-made, it eases our work as a designer. We just have to drag it and include it in our program. So such tools, such elements are already available by the name of controls in VB.NET. It makes programmers' life easier. 50% of the tools are already available with us. We just have to write the required commands for that particular tool or control. As I said earlier, we'll understand this concept better once we start with practical part of it. For now, let us discuss about theoretical part of VB.NET. In specific, let us talk about features of VB.NET. VB.NET is purely based on object-oriented computer paradigm. That means its code works within classes and objects. Everything in VB.NET is an object, including all of the primitive types. Primitive types are the data types, and we all know what exactly data type is. So VB.NET supports all primitive data types as well as user-defined data types. It supports events and event assemblies. Now at this juncture, we'll have to understand what class is. Classes and objects, these are the important parts of object-oriented programming paradigm, based on which VB.NET or .NET Framework is designed. Classes are the combination of something called objects and methods. Class is one of the most effective method in programming to combine data as well as the functions over it. So class in simple term is nothing but a combination of data and functions. And in object-oriented programming, more focus is given on data rather than the procedure, as it was in procedure-oriented, that is in C language. So using classes will help you in binding data as well as functions over it. Functions are the methods. Functions are the ways to store data or to access data or to work on the given data. And class is the best method to combine both of these data sets and as functions. And VB.NET is based on this paradigm, which is called object-oriented programming. And VB.NET also includes events and methods, which we'll discuss later in this video. VB.NET is a part of .NET framework and hence has got full access to the libraries of .NET framework. What .NET libraries are, we have discussed in our previous video. .NET library is the reason why we have ready-made tools available in VB.NET. So .NET library is a set of code snippet which we can use in our program. VB.NET is a modern, general purpose and easy to learn programming language. You will agree with this point once we start with coding in VB.NET, that it is a easy to learn and general purpose as well as modern programming language. VB.NET is component oriented language. That means it is well suited to be used to develop the software packages called components. A component is a software package that encapsulates. Encapsulation is combining data and functionality much like an object in object-oriented programming but at a higher level. So VB.NET also includes the feature called component-oriented language, which again is a combination of objects, that is data, and functions. And the combination is better than what we have in object-oriented programming language. It works efficiently, it works better with component-oriented language as compared to OOP, object-oriented language. So VB.NET, because it is COL or COP, is much better than object-oriented language. VB.NET programs can run on variety of computer platforms. It is also possible to run VB.NET programs on Mono, the open source alternative to .NET. Mono is a platform where you can execute VB.NET programs, not only under Windows but also with the operating systems called Linux or even with Macintosh operating system, Mac OS. It produces efficient programs minimizing the overheads. It has something called multi-threading feature which helps in operating with this or working with this platform with much easiness, or with it can produce efficient results within no time as it has multi-threading feature. It has efficient exception handling technique, which means error detection as well as correction is quite easy in VB.NET. VB.NET also uses automatic garbage collection feature for automatic memory management. When not needed, VB.NET frees the computer memory so that other programs can use it. One of the major features of having VB.NET that it has automatic garbage collection feature, which means if for a particular program you do not require memory anymore, it will not wait for the designer to give commands, but such a memory part will be freed automatically. Such a memory part which is not in use will be freed or will be empty in no time by VB.NET itself. So it uses memory efficiently. So these are some of the common features of VB.NET. But apart from this, one of the major features of VB.NET is it has an easy interface. Working or designing any program in VB.NET is quite easy because it has a window called IDE, Integrated Development Environment, wherein we have all the tools visible to us on screen, which we just have to include in our program. So the interface that VB has is also very easy, which is one of the major feature of VB.NET. Now this is what we have in VB.NET. VB.NET includes something called as form. Form is like a page where we can write anything, where we can include anything. So form is one of the important control that we have in VB.NET application. On form, we can include other interfaces. Now this just is an introductory part of VB.NET. What exactly form is and what these other controls mean, what exactly text box is, label, checkbox or button is, we'll discuss in later videos. But this just is an introductory part. VB.NET has something called form. It includes text box where we can write any text, anything. Label is used to display a label. We all know what the meaning of label is. We then have checkbox, we have something called as button, etc. These are called controls. These are the tools which are used for designing, which are used in designing rather, which are used to design interfaces. Based on this, we'll have to write the programs or the commands. Now this is one of the important part of object model. Based on this model, we'll have to work with VB.NET. What exactly the object model of VB.NET contains? It has something called as class. Class, as I said earlier, and as I said many a times, class is a way of binding your data and functions. Class is a combination of data and functions. It binds your data and function together so that you can access your data easily, you can work on your data easily. Object, anything which is available under class is called the object. Any data which is available under class is called the object. So object is the main part of VB.NET as well as object model, and the controls that we witnessed in our previous slide, the controls like form, text box, label, checkbox, button, and we have many more controls. All these controls under object model of VB.NET are called as objects. All these tools, all these controls are called as objects in VB.NET object model. Property is the property that these controls have. Property is nothing but a quality that these controls or these tools have. For example, one of the quality that our students have is our students are very clever, for example. One of the quality that our students have. And the other quality that our students have is they are very, very silent in the classroom. So what property is? What property is? Property is nothing but the qualities of the objects or the controls that we select. For example, if you select a form, which is like a page, as I said earlier, on which we can write anything. Form in VB.NET is like a page. Changing color or the color of a form is a quality. Name written on the form is a property of a form. Name of any control is a property. Text size written on it is a property. So property is nothing but the quality that a particular control has. And method is an action that a particular control can perform. Method is nothing but a block of code, and method in simple terms is nothing but an action, is nothing but any action or activity that a particular object can perform. For example, we can move text box from one place to other place. So movement of text box is a method for that particular text box. Changing the color of the form is a method. So method is nothing but an action that a particular object can perform. Students can talk is a method of the student. Students can think. Thinking is nothing but a method that a student has. So method is nothing but a particular action that a particular control can perform. We'll study in detail about what methods we have, what exactly the methods we have with particular controls. But as of now, we'll only remember that a method is nothing but a particular action that a particular control can perform. And the last one we have is events. Event is nothing but a user action event occurs when the user takes certain actions like mouse movement, mouse click, key press, etc. Now applications need to respond to something called events when they occur. Events are user actions. Methods are the actions of controls, and events are the user actions. We can control application, we can control the software, or we can design the software in such a way that upon each and every event something should happen with the software. For example, if I click on a form, it should display my name. So clicking on a form is an event. So any action that a user or a programmer initiates, when something happens, it is called an event. Or in simple terms, event is nothing but user actions like key press from the keyboard, mouse clicks, mouse movement, etc. Upon these movements, something or some action will be triggered, that is called as event. Now this also can be designed, can be controlled in VB.NET, and this also is a part of object model. So object model of VB.NET is a combination of objects, properties of the objects, methods that an object can perform, and event, which is an action based on user actions, which is an activity based on user actions. Let's now focus our discussion on something called IDE window. IDE is Integrated Development Environment. Now this is the place, this is the window wherein all the software tools are combined, wherein all the software tools are integrated. So whatever tools, elements we require for designing code, for designing software, are available under IDE. So all those tools are available under one umbrella called IDE. We can select them, we can use them whenever we require those tools in our program, for our program. So in detail, in later videos, we'll discuss about what IDE is. Now this is what we should remember. These are the modes we have while working with VB.NET. Now this is a common method that we have with all the programming languages. These are the phases we have in any programming language. All while working with any programming language, these are the modes that we need to remember. The first one we have is design time, wherein we'll have to design the interface by taking the tools, by taking the help of the tools. In VB.NET specifically, we can design the interface. Design interface. Interface is a face which is visible on screen, and code is written behind it. Code adds functionality into it, and interface is the front face which is visible on our screen. Like desktop. Desktop is an interface, for example. Such interfaces we can design. So in VB.NET, the first phase we have is design time. Then we have is runtime, that is testing and running the project or the VB.NET code. And then also we have is break time, which is about if you get errors, runtime error and pause. Then we have is debugging, that is correction of mistakes. Break time is about identifying and correcting our mistakes, if there are any in the code. Now this is the common mode that we have with all the programming languages. This is what we used to do with C language as well. Write the code, that is designing, compile it, that is runtime, and if there are any errors, solve them, that is break time. So this is a common method that each and every programming language follows. Steps for writing VB.NET projects: design your project, that is design your interface, set the properties, set the property which that particular control has. For example, set a particular color for a form, set a particular font style for a text box. Text box is the place where text is displayed. So set a particular text style, set a particular font color, etc. Change the properties or set the properties. Write the code to make it active, to make these controls active, or to make these controls function. We'll have to write the code. and then test and debug. Test and debug is execution. So these are the 4 phases we have while writing any code in VB.NET. Let's now talk about data types. Now, as we all know in programming, to work with numbers or to work with data, we'll have to accept that data through coding. We'll have to store them in something called as variables. If I need to add 2 numbers, for example, through VB.NET code, if I need to add 2 numbers, I will have to first store those 2 numbers in a variable which should be designed, which should be accepted in this particular code, which should be defined in this particular code. We all understand what variables are. Variables are the memory containers. Variables are the memory containers where individual data can be stored. If I need to work with 10 numbers in a particular software, then I need to initialize 10 variables. So before working with any data in a particular program, we need to store that data in that particular program using variables. If I need to store your roll numbers, for example, strength of BCom 5th semester is 500 in our college. If I need to store your roll numbers, which is a number, I need to tell my computer that I have 500 numbers to store. What I need to tell is what number of how many variables I require and what kind of data I will be storing in it. So what variable is? It is nothing but reserving memory blocks. Reserving memory blocks for our usage, for our use, and then storing data in it. That is the concept of designing or defining variables. While defining variables, we'll also have to tell computer as well as VB.NET what kind of data we will be storing in it. I repeat, variable is a memory container which is used for storing data in any programming language. And why variables are required? Because you cannot directly work with data without storing them in variable. Without storing required data in variables, you cannot work with such data, or you cannot work with any data in any programming language. In order to use any data, in order to process any data in any programming language, first you need to store that data in a variable. Any kind of data, it can be a textual data, it can be a numerical data, or any other form of data. Each and every data set must be stored in variable. Variable is a memory block, is a memory container where data gets stored. But in programming languages, you also will have to tell computer what kind of data you will be storing in those variables. Now that is what is data type. Data type is a method, is a concept which tells computer what kind of data you'll be storing in the variables. It defines the type of data. Let us check out what type of data we have, what data types we have in VB.NET. Data types determine the type of data that any variable can store. Variables belonging to different data types are allocated different amounts of memory space. Let's understand this concept. So this is what is the list of data types we have in VB.NET. Now all these data types have different memory spaces and also they have different ranges. Required space is calculated in terms of memory capacity, and the range is the value range. That is the minimum number we can enter and the maximum number we can enter. So that value range defines the range of a number that we can enter with a particular data type, and required space defines what is the size of that particular data type in our computer in terms of memory capacities. So the first one we have is called Boolean, and it has no memory space. It depends on what operating system you are using. Value range we have is the possible answers we can have with Boolean. Boolean can have only 2 answers. One of those 2 answers, it can either be true or it can be false. For example, if I write if 10 is greater than 5, because 10 is greater than 5, if it is Using Boolean data type, the answer will be yes. And using Boolean data type, if I mention if 5 is greater than 10, as it is incorrect, the answer would be false. So Boolean is a data type which either can store true or it can store false. Excuse me. The next one we have is byte. Byte is used to store numbers from 0 to 255. Size of byte in VB.NET is 1 byte, which means it can store in memory capacity, in terms of memory capacity, 1 byte of data, and in terms of numerical range, it can store numbers from 0 to 255. And unsigned, if it is unsigned data type, it means it can only store non-negative numbers. It cannot have negative numbers. It can have only non-negative numbers, that is positive numbers it can store. Then we have is character. We then have is character. Size of character is 2 bytes and it can store up to 65,535 characters at a time. Of course, characters cannot be negative, hence it is written as unsigned. We then have is date. Date is used to store in a formatted pattern date. Size of date data type in VB.NET is 8 bytes, and this is the range we have with VB.NET date data type. We can have from this particular calendar date, from 00 midnight of January 1st 0001 till 11:59 p.m. of December 31st 9999. So this is the minimum and the maximum date that we can include in our code, in our VB.NET program using date data type. So date data type is used to store dates in a proper format. Character is char is used to store textual data. Byte is used to store numbers. We then have different varieties of numbers to store. We can also store numbers in variables using decimal data type. Size of decimal data type is 16 bytes, and this is the range we have. Look at the unit of this. Look at the number, huge number that we can store from 0 till the number mentioned here. We can store numbers if it is decimal from 0 till this particular number. So this is the kind of data we can store using decimal data type. So for storing numbers, we can use decimal data type, and decimal data type can store complete numbers, that is without decimal point, as well as numbers with decimal point. With decimal point, we can store such a number, huge number, and we can store 20 up till 28 decimal points. That is after decimal dot, we can have 28 places to store numbers. We then have double, a data type called double. If you remember this, we used to have this in C as well. In C language we have int, in C language we have float, in C language we have long int, we have double, etc. Similar kind of data types are available here. Similar kind of data types are available here. We have double data type. Size of double data type is 8 bytes, and this is the range we have with double data type. We have integer available here as well. In VB.NET we have integer data type. Memory size of it is 4 bytes, and we can store 214 crores 74 lakh 83,648 on negative side, and on positive side the maximum number we can have is 214 crores 74 lakh 83,647, a signed integer, which means we can have negative as well as non-negative numbers if it is integer. So for general data that we accept, general data or a general number, a routine number without decimal point, we can go for integer. We can declare our variable with this data type called integer if you are accepting a routine number like your roll number, like your subject marks, etc. We can use this data type. Long data type can store numbers up till 8 bytes, and this is the range we have with long data type. And with short data type, we can store numbers from -32,768 till 32,767 on positive side, and we can store both negative and non-negative numbers with short data type. So this is about the data types available in C language. Thank you everyone.